So for step 38, attaching the side bumpers. Well, you can see that we've got the two side bumpers that have to go on, but we're also attaching basically a rear bumper as well. So those are all of the screws and hardware that we need for this step, and of course there's our side bumpers and the rear one. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So let's work on this side first so we can see what's going on. We know that we're going to be using these MA5 screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yes. So if I bring the chassis over, you can see that there's a screw hole here, a screw hole here, and there's one down below. So this is going to sit on the chassis just like that. So let's screw this on. So if I grab one of these screws here, we know that that is going to sit like that. So let's screw that one into that hole. Make sure that's going in level, which pretty much is. Now, I'm not going to screw it down all the way because I want to make sure that we get the other ones in first. That way we can figure out whether there's any binding, etc. Now that is going to sit just flat like that. There we go. And again, I want to make sure that the other one goes in okay before I screw everything down. So that's got to go into there. So keep that upside down and we'll screw that one in. In actual fact, because of the way that sits, I'm going to turn it over and put my finger on the back side so that we can screw that down and have something to hold the back, to give it some back pressure basically. And since I know all the screws are in, I'm going to tighten this one down. There we go. So let's just tighten these ones down now. And again, you don't want to over tighten, just make sure that they're actually secure. Which that feels right. Flip that back over one more time, make sure that that is secure. Which it is. So there's one of our side bumpers in place. Very cool, and you can see how the trailing arm, it moves inside the bumper. Very cool. So okay, let's do the repeat of that on the other side. So we'll grab our screw here. That's going to screw into the back right there. In fact, let's make sure that that goes into the screw. There we go. Okay, let's get the next one in place. So we'll do the front here. Make sure that goes in there. And the last one is going to go at the top. And so same idea. I'm going to use my finger to create some back pressure so that it will screw in easier. So let's do it this way. Get it into the hole there. There we go. Now that they're all in, I'm going to screw them all the way in. And do the same thing with these guys. That's in nice and tight. That's in nice and tight. And I guess the one last one here. And that's in nice and tight. So there we go. There we have both of our side bumpers in place, and the trailing arms work within them. Very cool. So what do we have left? We now have to work on the bottom bumper, and I see that we also have these A3 pieces that you need, so I'll grab those and we'll continue with the build. So now let's get this bumper piece on. So you can see that the way this is going to sit, it's going to sit down there like that, which is interesting. So I think what we'll do first is let's get these two screws on. So you can see that they're both the MA4s. So let's get one of the MA4s in. Make sure that fits correct. And we'll grab the other MA4 and we'll put that down there too. Now I wonder if it might be better to hold this sideways when I'm screwing this in. Yeah, I think so. Just check on that side. Yes, they're fine. So I'm going to do it this way on both sides. Just keep screwing them in. Making sure that that is solid. Looks like it is, but it can be screwed in just a bit more. There we go. So that's how that looks. Pretty cool. And then we've got these parts that need to go in. So you can see that first they're showing that a nut goes into the bottom part here. And then you stick on this piece here, which you can see that it's raised. You can see it's flat and then a raised spot. One side is completely flat. You can see that. The other side has a raised bit. Well, you can see from the picture they want the raised bit facing up on this end. And then we're going to screw in this guy into the end part. So it's got to go into this end one. Which is interesting. So if we put this on its side for a second, you can see that this is going to get screwed in all the way. And again, because this is so small, I'm going to screw it in, and I can tell I'm at the end now. I'm not going to over tighten, but you can see ultimately that's what it's going to end up looking like. So this is actually hiding a nut, which I think will obviously be something that we're going to use at a later date. But that means we're going to have to do the exact same thing on the other side. So you can see we're going to put a nut in there. You're going to put a nut in there. It does like to roll away. You want a nut in there. There, now it's down. Then we take this piece here, which is going to sit with the raised piece on the back. And then we have this little screw that's going to get screwed into the plastic at the back. So again, just make sure that this sits correctly. Yes, okay, so I've got it going in. So I'll turn this around so you can see what I'm doing here. We need to get that in all the way. And again, as soon as I feel resistance, I'm going to stop because they're very tiny screws. There we go. So there are the two screws in the back end, which are really there to hold in the plastic pieces, to hold in the nut that's behind there. Interesting. So that is actually the end of step 38. So now we're going to move into 39, and we're going to attach the rear roll cage.